Hey guys, welcome to Homework Help for Year 6, Term 2, Week 2. On page 19, question 1 says evaluate, which means find the answer to 8.46, take away 7.13. So to do these kinds of subtractions or addition with decimals, just write it like this: 8.46 and 7.13. Just make sure that the decimal line up. Okay, so that you're not having some weird, for example, let's look at the second one here. I'll show you what I mean. So if I do, we'll work on that later. Let's do 9.78. Let's add with 4.1. Can you see how this is an incorrect way to add or subtract decimals? Because the decimals don't line up. The decimal's on this side, and on the other one, the decimal's on this side. See, they're supposed to line up so you can add them properly. Okay, so what we should do is put the 4.1 like this, and because there's no number here, we just put a 0. Okay, if there's no number, just put a 0. And this is the correct way to add decimals, because the units are adding with the units, and the tenths are adding with the tenths, and the hundreds adding with the hundreds. So that's how we should add stuff. Okay. It's like adding, for example, 27, and then you want to add with, like, for example, a 4. You don't put a 4 like this. You have to put the 4 in the units column, because 4 is a unit, so you have to put it there. Okay. So units should add within units, and so on. Okay, so let's do a subtraction. Actually, you can do that yourself. I'll let you do that. You can do that yourself. Now the next one is 9 divided by 0.3. So the way we do this is we say 9. We put it into a fraction is better. When you're dividing with decimals and you get confused, just put it into a fraction. So 9 is being divided by 0.03. Now with fractions, we don't like to have decimals. Okay, we like to have whole numbers only. So we need to turn this bottom one into a whole number. There's a decimal at the moment. So to turn a whole number, you times it by what? 100? Because if you multiply by 100, the decimal will jump to the right and turn to a whole number. So now, let me just show you that. This decimal place will jump to the right 1, and then 2. Because we got 100 has 2 zeros, so it's going to jump twice to the right. So now it turns into a 3, which is what we want. Okay, but if you multiply the bottom by 100, you must multiply the top by 100 as well. So now you're going to get 900. So it's equal to 900 over divided by 3. Alright, 900 divided by 3, that's just 300. And there you go. So 9 divided by 0.3 is the same as 900 divided by 3. Same thing. And you get 300. Alright. Next one is 1.5 squared. 1.5 squared. Alright. So what you can do is you can do 1.5 times 1.5, okay, and let me just 1.5 take away 1.5. I'm sorry, times it by 1.5, and you're gonna get 225. Well, 15 times 15 is 225, right? So the answer should be 225. But where's the decimal place? Well, there's two ways to figure out where the decimal place will land. Okay, so let me just move this 1 second. Maybe I'll move it over here. Let's move all of this over here. Shrink it and move over here. Okay. So two ways to figure out where the decimal is going to be. First thing you can do is you can say, okay, I want to turn these into whole numbers. I want to be 15 times 15. Okay. So to do that, we must move decimal place from here over to the right 1 time. And this one also 1 time as well. So we've made 2 moves to the right. So we made 2 moves to the right direction. Okay, so when we get the answer, decimal place is right here at the moment. We're going to move it back 2 spaces to the left. So we're going to move decimal place back here 1, and then 2. So now the answer becomes 2.25. That's one way to figure out where decimal place will land. A second way to figure out where we'll land is, well, let's have a look. Let's do a little estimation, okay? 1.5 is roughly 2, and 1.5 is again 2. 2 times 2 is going to be 4, okay? So our answer is going to be around 4. Like it could be 3, could be 2, could be 5, could be 7. Around, it has to be around 4. It can't be like 200. So when you get the answer 225, you gotta think, where do I put decimal place to make it as close to 4 as possible? Well, I can't put it here because that's 225. I can't put it here, that's 22. That's still way too high. So if I put it here, 2.25, yeah, 2.25 is pretty close to 4, you know, it's not too far away. So therefore, I should put it there. That makes the most sense, okay? So we do a little estimation of what this is about, and we see what answer we would normally get, and then we have to find an answer that's close to that as possible. So the answer is 2.25 there. But that's not the entire question, right? So you got this would be 2.25. Now 0.5 times 0.5, so 0.5 times 0.5. Okay, I'm gonna do the first method. I move decimal place to the right 1 time and 1 time. So I made 2 moves to the right. When you do 5 times 5, you get 25. Now you're gonna move it, decimal places right there, yeah? Now you're gonna move it back 2 spaces to the left, so 1, 2. So the answer now is 0.25, okay? So we can get rid of that. Decimal place was here. It's moved 2 spaces to the left, so now it's 0.25. So this is subtract 0.25. Well, 2.25 minus 0.25, that's just 2. Okay, easy. Next one, it says evaluate and write your answer as a decimal. Okay, well, if you wanna, alright, so let's just add all this up. Okay, let's just add the fraction part first. I know you're supposed to go from left to right, but because they both add, it's gonna be the same. It's like adding 2 plus 3 plus 4. I could add the 3 plus 4 first and then add the 2 later. It's the same thing, okay? So these are the hidden rules that are not spoken about, but if you understand maths, then you should understand these rules. So I'm going to add these 2 first instead of adding the 4 and the 2 10. So let's see. So 2 over 10 plus with 5 over 1,000. Now we have to make the bottom number the same. So I'm going to turn the 10 into 1,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to time this by 100. Okay, it's missing 2 zeros. If I times that by 100, I must times the top by 100 as well. So now I have 200 over 1,000 plus with 5 over 1,000. Well, that just becomes 205 over 1,000. Okay. Now you're wondering, okay, so what does that look like as a decimal? Because they want it as a decimal, right? Actually, let's just do it one step at a time. We're gonna add that, then we're gonna add the 4. So if you're gonna add another 4, you're gonna get 4 and 205 over 1,000. Now we change it to decimal. So you gotta think of, okay, 205. This is the decimal part here. The 4 is a whole number, so it's gonna be 4 point something. Okay. So we have to figure out what is this as a decimal. So you got 205. Where's the decimal place? The decimal place is right here. Okay. When you divide it by 1,000, you're gonna move decimal place back 3 spaces to the left. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3. Here's another 0 there. So now decimal place is moved there. So now this this turns into this. Okay, which is 0.205. So now it's 4.205, and there's your answer. Okay, next one says if A is equal to that and B is equal to that and C equals that, write A, B, C in descending order. Descending order. Descending order means highest or lowest. Highest to lowest. Now A is this amount, so let's see. 0.75 times 0.5. Okay, move decimal place to the right 2 times. 1, 2. And move decimal place to the right 1 time. So we made 3 moves to the right. Okay, so now let's just do 5 times 75. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 2 is 37. Alright, decimal place is right here at the moment. Okay. Now, because we moved 3 spaces to the right, we're going to move back 3 spaces to the left. So decimal place, move back 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. It's right here. Which means there's a 0 in front there. Okay. So when you multiply those two numbers, you're going to get... so let me just rewrite this. So 0. Actually, let me just... all of this becomes 0.375. Now that's A. Okay, A is equal to that. Let's look at B. Let's see what B is equal to. Let me just remove this again. Okay. And we'll see what C equals to. Then we can rearrange them. We have to find out what they're... we have to, you know... let me see. Okay. So let's look at B. Whoops. What happened there? So B is equal to 0.66 divided by 1.1. Now this is a fraction, but it has decimals in the top number and bottom number. So what we're going to do is we got to change. We don't like decimals in our fractions, so we're going to times it by something to get rid of the decimal. All right. So we're going to times it by not 10 but 100, and we times it by 100. Okay, so when you times it by 100, you're going to get what? 66 over 110. Okay, decimal. So imagine there's a bunch of zeros there. You times it by 100. This one goes 1 twice, so you get 66. This one goes 1 twice, and you get 110. Because decimal place is right there now. Okay. All right. Now we simplify this. Simplify. We can divide it by I don't know, maybe 2. I'll get... actually no, I can divide by 11. I'll get 6. Divide by 11, I will get 10. And I can simplify that further. I can get divided by 2, get 3 over 5. Alright. Now 3 over 5 is just 0.6. Okay, so 0.6. If you remember your fractions, this is 0.6 or 60%. If you remember your fractions and percentages, that's just that one there. Alright, next one is your 1 over 8. 1 over 8. Now if you remember 1 over 8, that's just 0.125. Okay, so there you have it. You got your A, B, C. I put them all into decimals. Now it's easy to rearrange them. So let's see, which one goes first? Well, the smallest... actually, we're going from highest to lowest. So the highest is this one. 0. Now you're wondering, hey, how come that's the highest? Well, if you put another 0 there, you can see that's 600, 375, and 125. Okay, easy to see. Okay, the second highest will be this one, and the third will be this one. So you rearrange them, and the answer is going to be this. Okay, the answer is going to be... you don't write these answers. You write the answers that were given to you. You write A, B, or C. So let's see. B is first, and then A, and then C. So there's your answer. Okay. All right. Next one, question 4. Express 4 over 7 as decimal. What is the digit? what is the digit which is in the 20th place? So 4 over 7. Now, if you want to write this as decimal, you have to do division, right? You gotta do 4. Oh man, this is gonna take a bit of space. So I'm going to do 4. 4 divided by 7. Now, normally 4 cannot be divided by 7 because it's smaller. But if we're going to use decimals, then we can do it. So 4, let's just put in the decimal here. 4, let's put a bunch of zeros. See what this looks like, okay? So 4 divided by, so we start with a 4. 4 divided by 7, that's nothing, that's 0. And then we can put a decimal now, because we know it's going to be less than 1, okay? So now we put a decimal, so now we can say 40 divided by 7. Okay, so we choose the whole 40. 40 divided by 7 is 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Do a subtraction and you get a 5. Bring down the next number. 50 divided by 7 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Do a subtraction, you get a 1. Bring down the next 0. Just keep bringing down zeros. So 10 divided by 7 is a 1. 7 times 1 is 7. Subtract, you get a 3. Now you're thinking, oh my god, this is gonna go on forever. You're right, it will go on forever. Okay, but at some point it's gonna stop, it's gonna repeat. And the reason it has to repeat, because we can express it as a fraction. Anything that can be expressed as a fraction will have repeating decimals. Or well, not always, but it can have repeating decimals. Okay. Okay, so let's see what the next one is. You bring the 0 down, and 30 divided by 7 is 4. 7 times 4 is 28. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep going until we see the repeating number. Okay, so now we got 28. Do a subtraction, you get 2, remainder of 2. Bring a 0 down and you get 20 divided by 7, and that gives me what, 2? Yeah, 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract, you get a 6. Bring the next 0 down. 60 divided by 7. 60 divided by 7 is 8. 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract and you get a 4. Ah, here we go. Bring the next number down, you get a 40. Alright, so as you can see that we have a 40 now, and we're going to divide by 7. Okay, and you can see that that's the same thing as this one here. We start from 40. And then we ended up at 40 again. So I'll just do a little bit more just to show you. 40 divided by 7 is going to equal to 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. 7 times 5 is 35. Do a subtraction, you get a 5. Bring down a 0. 50 divided by 7 is going to be a 7. As you can see, it's going to repeat this pattern, this whole pattern here. Just show you. This whole pattern up to here. So that means that we're going to get 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8. And then we're going to get 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8 again. Okay, 5, 7, yeah, and so on. So that means that this entire thing is going to repeat. I'm just going to outline it for you. There you go. So now the question is, what is the digit in the 20th place? So this is we can say this is the first place, the second place, the third place. Now, how many numbers does it do before it repeats? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes 6 numbers before it repeats. So it's this. Hold on. 0 point. What was it? 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8. And then it's gonna go 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8. Okay, if you keep writing all the decimals, it's gonna go like that. Now we're not gonna write all the decimals and count to 20 because that's gonna take a long time, right? We're gonna learn how to do it in a quick way. What if they change this number to 200? Are you gonna sit there and write 200 digits and then count them? No, that's a waste of time. So what we're gonna do is we know that it repeats every 6 digits. This is 6 digit, okay? So this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6th digit, and this is the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th digit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the number 20 and we're going to divide it by 6. Let's just divide it as a fraction actually. 20 divided by 6. So how many 6 in 20? Well, there is 3, remainder what? Remainder 2, 2 over 6. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to have 3 lots of, let me see, the 6s, the 6 digits, right? And then we have 2 remainder, so we have 5, 7. So the remainder 2, that means that this is a 7. If you have a remainder 1, you're gonna have a 5. If you have a remainder 2, is a 7. This happens all the time. Okay, so remainder 1, remainder 2, remainder 3, remainder 4, remainder 5, remainder 6. Sorry, if you remainder 6, there is. Sorry, that should be remainder 0. Okay. Again, we remainder 1, remainder 2, remainder 3, remainder 4, remainder 5, remainder 0. So if you have a remainder 2, it's always going to be the 7, no matter what. So if I told you what is a 200th number, 200 divided by 6, well, what is that? Let's just divide by 6. 20 divided by 6 will be 3. 3 times 6 is 18. That will remain 2. Bring the 0 down. That'll be 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And then you have a remainder. So remainder 2 as well. So for the 200th number, this also has a remainder 2, which means that it's also going to be a 7. See? So we can work it out that way. So the answer for this will be 7. What is the 20th digit? It'll be a 7. Done. Alright, question 5. It says express as a simple fraction in simplest form. Okay. To put this into a fraction, well, just put let me see. Put the whole thing into a fraction. 2.25 over 1. Anything that's a whole number, just put over 1. Okay. Now this is not a whole number, obviously, because it's got 0.25, but just put it over 1 anyway. Okay, we can change it. We can change it to a fraction later. So I mean, yeah. So now what we're gonna do is we want to make fractions. Don't, because anything I could put over 1 anything actually. Okay, and then you can change it to a fraction, because this is still kind of not a fraction. It's still got decimals at the moment. So to change a fraction, just make it into a whole number. How do I turn this one into a fraction? You're going to multiply by 100. That way, we can move decimal place to the right 2 times and it turns into a whole number. And if you times the top by 100, you must times the bottom by 100 as well. So that gives us 225 over 100. There's your fraction. Okay. Now we simplify this. Alright, let's simplify this. We can divide the top and bottom by 5. Or actually, yeah, let's just divide by 5. I mean, they're both divisible by 5, obviously, because they end in of 0 or 5. Okay. 100 divided by 5 is 20. 225 divided by 5. Let me see what that is. 225 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And then 25 says 5. So 45. Let me just double check. Yes, okay. Then we can divide by 5 again. So 45 divided by 5 give you 9. 20 divided by 5 will give you 4. So the answer is 9 and 4. That's the simplest form. Okay. So you can leave the answer like that, or you can change it to mixed numeral and you say how many 4s in 9? That's 2. Remainder 1 on 4. You can say that any of these answers are acceptable. Next one, 0.8. So again, we're going to put 0.08. Just put over 1, because it's the same thing. 0.8 divided by 1 is still 0.8. Okay, so we can do this. Now, but because 0.8 is a decimal, it's not an ideal fraction. Okay, so we don't like to have decimals in our fractions. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to multiply by 100. Times it by 100. And you can see where I'm going with this. This is going to be 8 over 100. And that's equal to, let's simplify that. Divided by 4, you're going to get 2 over 25, and there's your answer. Next one, we got 0.0925, put it over 1. We'll multiply this by, let's see what number. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 1 with 4 zeros. And if you multiply the top by that, you must multiply the bottom by that as well. Okay. So what you're going to get now is 925 over 10,000. Now we have to simplify it. Alright, divided by 5. Okay. I can divide by 25, but some people don't know that. So let's just do it the most people understand. Alright, 10,000 divided by 5 is 2000. It's equal to 2,000. Okay. And then you have 925 divided by 5. 9 divided by 5 is 1. That's a 5. Take away, you get a 42. 42 divided by 5 is equal to 8. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract, you get remainder 2. And then bring the 5 down. 25 divided by 5 is a 5. So therefore this is 185. And as you may have noticed, these two numbers are also divisible by 5. Okay, so 20 divided by 5 will give you 4, so that's going to equal to 400. Now 185 divided by 5, let's see what that is. 18 divided by 5 is 3, 3 times 5 is 15. Take away remainder 3, 35, and they'll give you 35 divided by 5 is 7. So this will be 37 over 400. And that's the lowest we can go, okay? Because 37 is already a prime number. We can't divide anymore. So therefore, the answer is 37 over 400. Question 6. Arrange in ascending order. Ascending means smallest to highest. Okay. Alright, so these are all mixed up. You got decimal, fraction, decimal, fraction. So what we're going to do is we need to wait. We can convert it all into fractions or all into decimals. I would suggest fraction will be easier. Let me think. Actually, I could do decimals. Alright, we'll try decimals. So let's turn this into a decimal. 3 quarters we should know is going to equal to 0.75. Now this one, what is this as a decimal? So, well, let's just have a look. 13 over 440. Alright, I want to get, now the best way to convert into a fraction is I want to get this into 100. Okay, I want to turn this into 100. You can do division. You can do 13 divided by 40. Yes, you can do that. Or if you don't know how to do that, then do this one here. I want to turn 40 into 100. Okay, I can't do that real quick. So how about I turn 40 into 20, and then from 20 I can go to 100. I can do that. I can do 2 jumps. Now to go from 40 to 20, we just divide it by 2, and from 20 to 100 I times it by 5. So 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. Now 6.5 times it by 5 and get that number there. Alright, let's work it out. 6.5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 is 32. 32.5. So this is 32.5. Alright, so therefore 13 over 40 is the same as 32 over 5. Okay, so now let's just change this back into decimal. Actually it wasn't decimal from the beginning. Let's just change it to decimal now. So 32, what this means is 32.5 is being divided by 100. That's what it means. If you divide by 100, decimal place is going to jump 2 spaces back to the left, and it's going to be 0.325. So therefore, whoa, so messy here. Let's just rub some of this stuff out. Okay, so alright. So this is going to equal to 0.325. And there's your answer there. Alright, so we go from smallest to highest. Alright, so let me just write it out for you. You can see it clearly. So the first one is 0.68. The second one is 0.75. the third one 0.77, and the fourth one is 0.325. Okay, you see this has 3 digits, and these only have, and the rest only has 2. So here's what I'll do. I'm just gonna put another 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, and you can see it's easier to compare this way. So ascending order, smallest to highest. So the smallest one would be this one. This would be number 1. Then the second would be this one, number 2, and then the third, and then the fourth. Okay, so that way we're gonna. So when we write the answer, we have to write it as the way they give us. We don't write it as this one. Okay, we have to write it like this. Watch. So we say the first one is this number here, which is this one here. So we say the first answer is 13 on 40. The second one is this one, which is the first one here. So that's 0.68. The next one is 3/4, and then 0.77, and there's your answer. Okay, so we convert it, and then we write the answer in the form that they give us, not this form, not the form that we've written down, but the form that they give us. Okay, so rub this out. Alright, next one. It says write the value of the square root of 0.09. Okay, so you gotta think of two numbers that multiply to 0.09. So we know that 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So it can't be 3. How about we try, it's got decimals, so let's try 0.3 times 0.3. If that doesn't work, try 0.03 times 0.03. See which one gives you that answer. Okay, so you work it out and tell me which one is the answer. It's got to be one of those. Okay, no, next page. Now the next one says evaluate, which means find the answer as a decimal. Okay, so 1/9 as a decimal, just do 1 divided by 9. Okay, so now we know 1 can't be divided by 9, so let's put in a couple of zeros. So 1 divided by 9 is equal to 0. Alright, so it's going to be less than 1. Put a decimal there. Now we do 10 divided by 9. 10 divided by 9 is 1. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract, and you get a remainder 1. Bring the 0 down. 10 divided by 9 is again 1. And then 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract, get 1, bring the 0 down. And as you can see, the pattern's going to continue. So we're going to get 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 forever. Now this is called reoccurring decimal, because the decimal is going to repeat forever. So the way we write this is 0.1, and we put a dot on top of the 1. That dot tells us that that 1 is going to repeat forever. Okay, so alright, now let's look at the next one. 8 divided by 11. Alright, so let's do 8 divided by 11 here. Let's put a bunch of zeros. 8 divided by 11 is nothing. Decimal. 80 divided by 11 is 7. 7 times 11 is 77. Subtract, you get 3. Now we're bringing 0 down. 30 divided by 11 is 2. That gives us 22. Subtract, you get 8. And then bring the 0 down. 8. So again, you're going to get 7. 77. Subtract, you get a 3. And then you're going to get 2 again. As you can see, the pattern continues. Okay, so you're going to keep going again. 7, 2, 7, 2, 7, 2, so on. So to write this, we got 2 numbers repeating. So to write this, there's 2 ways to write this. You can say, okay, well this is equal to 0.72, and you put a dot on both of them. Or you could say 0.72 and put a line above the 7 and 2. That these are the same thing. They both mean the same thing. It just means that the 72 is going to repeat forever. Okay. Now you do the next one by yourself. You can do that one. Actually, I will help you with that one. Fine. 5. I have no more space. I'm going to rub this out. So 5 divided by 7. Let's just put in a couple of decimals. 5 divided by 7 is 0. 50 divided by 7 is equal to 7. 7 times 7 is 49. And we get remainder 1, bring the 0 down. 10 divided by 7 is going to get 1. 7 times 1 is 7. Subtract, you get 3. And then you're going to get, bring the 0 down. 30 by 7 is 4. That's 28. Remainder 2. Bring the 0 down. You get 2. That's 14. Subtract, you get a 6. That'll be 8. 7 times 8 is 56. And then you get a 4. 40 divided by 7 is 5. 7 times 5 is 35. And then you get a remainder of 5. And then we're back to 50 again. So, and then this will be a 7, obviously. So that therefore these numbers are going to repeat. Okay, so you're going to write 0.71428. Just put a dash on top of the whole thing, and that means those numbers will repeat, and that's done. All right. Now, this next one says write in descending order. Okay, let's write this out. Let's see. So let's just write it like this: 2.088, 2.88, 2.8, 2.808. Okay, so we had to put it in. We organize it where the decimals are all lined up, and anything without numbers, for example, this has 3 decimal places and this only has 2. So what I'll do is I'll just put a 0 here just to make it easier for us. Okay, and you can see which one is bigger. Well, this one is, let's ignore the 2 for now, because the 2, they're all the same here. Just ignore them. Okay, so just let's look at this part here. Well, it says in was it descending order? No, yeah, descending order. So this is the highest to lowest. What's the highest? The highest is 880. That's the highest. And then 808. So this will be the second. And then 800, third, and then the 88 is the fourth. So the highest is this one here. Okay, so we write the answer as 2.88. We write it in the form that they gave us. The next one is 2.808, and the third one is 2.8, and the fourth one is 2.088. And there's your answer. Okay. Next one says the average of 4 numbers is 11.25. A fifth number is added. Okay, so the way we do these questions is we have to imagine there's 4 numbers. 4 distinct numbers, meaning that they can be the same, but they're most likely different. So I'm just going to draw different shapes for them. This will be an oval, or we can think of it like a diamond or something. Okay, so we got 4 numbers, we don't know what they are, and we don't need to know. And to find the average, remember that the average is written like this. I'll write it over here. Average is equal to total of all numbers divided by how many numbers we got. How many numbers? Okay, so we got 4 numbers. We're going to add them up because we want to find a total. Then we're going to divide it by how many numbers there are. There are 4 numbers, so we divide by 4. And that gives us, it says the average of final number is 11.25. So we say that all of that is equal to 11.25. This is the average. Okay, we're given the average, so that's why we let it equal to 11.25. Now it says the fifth number is added to the numbers and the new average is 12.5. So before we do anything, let's look at this expression we have here. So I'm just gonna okay. So what we have is we have this expression. Now what we can say from this expression is this: we can find the total of these numbers. Okay, so according to the question, when you add the 4 numbers together, you're going to get some total number. We call it total. And the total divided by 4 is 11.25. So how do we find a total? We can work backwards to find a total. Okay, so imagine, I'll give you an easier one. So what's 8 divided by, let's just, let's just say something divided by, let's say 3 is equal to 2. And we know the answer is 6, right? 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? But how do you get the 6 back using the numbers that we've given? So we got a 3 and a 2. How do we get a 6 from that? Well, 2 times 3 is 6. So if we multiply 3 times 2, we get the 6 back, right? Same thing here. I want to get a total. I've got total divided by 4 is equal to 11.25. How do I find a total? Well, just do 4 times 11.25. 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 0.25 is equal to 1. So that's plus 1 equals to 45. So therefore, this is equal to 45. You can actually, if you don't believe me, you can actually just multiply it like this. 11.25 times it by 4. Okay. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. 1 times 4 is 4 plus 1 is 5, and then 1 times 4 is 4, and then it's 45. Okay. Now, so we know the total is equal to 45. Whoops. Alright, great. Now, whenever we work with these questions, it's always a good idea to find a total first, and then we can work out the rest later. Now, it says that we have a 5th number now. Okay, so we got these same numbers. Let me just do this. Hopefully I can draw it correctly. Okay. Copy, paste. No, duplicate. Okay. So we got these 4 numbers. Now we're going to add a 5th number. We're going to add some 5th number. Make a rectangle or something. Okay. And then they want to find what is the 5th number. They say that once you add the 5th number, the new average is 12.5. So if we have 5 numbers, the new average, so how do you find the average of 5 numbers? You add all the 5 numbers together, divided by 5. And it says the new average is now 12.5. Okay, so the question is, what is this mystery new number? So to find this out, all we got to do is we're going to find the total, the new total. I'll put this in green now. I want to find a new total, total of these 5 numbers. Okay, so again, we're going to do 5 times 12.5. Now, if you do 5 times 12.5, what are you going to get? Well, let's work it out. Let's times this by 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. So 625. So therefore, 62.5. So therefore, the total of these 5 numbers is 62.5. Actually, let me just put it in green. Maybe it's better. So the total... Alright, now the question was this mystery number. Now we know that the first 4 numbers, we know these 4 numbers, so, okay, let me just rewrite this. Oops. Okay, so what we did is we figured out that these 5 numbers have a total of 62.5. Okay, we worked that out. But at the same time, we know that these 4 numbers have a total of what? have a total of 45. We worked it out in the beginning, right? So we know that this is equal to 45. So 45 plus with one final number will give us 62.5. So what it means is this. We got 45. I should put it in red. We have 45 plus with some number is equal to 62.5. So what's this number? Well, just do a subtraction, okay? Just do 62.5, take away 45. We just find a difference between the two numbers. So now 5 take away 0 is 5. 12 take away 5 is equal to 7. And this will equal to 1. So the answer is 17.5. So this fifth number has to be 17.5 for everything else to work out. So therefore it says what's the fifth number? Well, the answer is 17.5. There's your answer. Okay, hope that helps.